Welcome to the Freedom Founder Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Duggar, and I have a quote for you, and I want to read it to make sure I get this correct. It's from a TV broadcaster, journalist, and TV personality, Germany Kent. When the vision is clear, results will appear. Keep your mindset positive as you work your plan, flourish, and always remember why you started. Now, today's topic is a little bit about mindset, but it's also a lot about my guest today, Erica. Erica Kinnebrew is an ABA entrepreneur. She has built and successfully exited 3 ABA companies, and she has focused a lot on and very passionate about building successful teams. And so now she continues her work in private consulting, her business owners community, and her newest venture, ABA Engine. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as the podcast episode goes. But just to preface that, ABA Engine is a tech platform aimed at solving industry-wide challenges in intake management, scheduling, and staffing. Erica's been there. She knows how to solve some of those bottlenecks, and she wants to help you. Erica's enthusiastic about the opportunity to make a positive difference in the ABA industry and to help drive it forward. So welcome, Erica.
Awesome. It's so great to be here. Thanks, Zach, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to ask, as it always is something of value to me, and I know it's a value to those that are our listeners. How did you get started as an entrepreneur? Did you always think that this was something that you were going to do, is start a business one day that you dreamed about when you were in your bed at night as a child? Or tell me, how did that come to pass?
Sure. So I have lots of crazy ideas for business. Most of them probably I should never pursue. Yeah, I was thinking of a couple in my brain and I started laughing at myself. Sorry.
Right.
But I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, my father, all worked for themselves. And so I think that I had a lot of great models.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So, I mean, that maybe is something that you are starting to think about at a young age, and not always the case that someone has those models to stand in those gaps for them and see how that operates. So that's marvelous. So what was your first entrepreneurial venture?
So my very first one actually was back in, I guess I was in, I can't remember if I was in college. So it was at the very beginning of college. My best friend and I decided that we were going to sell wedding paraphernalia, like the pillows, the ring bearer pillows and the flower girl baskets on eBay. So we made them and designed them and put them on eBay, and we sold them, $10 a piece, and we made a little bit of money, but it certainly wasn't scalable. And
sure,
for the amount we calculated it, it was like we were making 25 cents an hour or something for the amount of time. It wasn't a good business, but it was fun to do together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely is something that created an activity to pass the time, and as well as something to be creative and to just continue in that mindset of an entrepreneur, somebody who's thinking about how they can produce something somebody wants and then also make some income through it. So that is an important part of being an entrepreneur, is having the right mindset and being able to shift your mindset at times. And I know that's something that has been a focus for you and has had to be a focus as you had successfully built upon success and then gone through a transition out of a business and then built another successful business and transition. So talk a little bit about mindset and the mindset shift of an entrepreneur.
Right. So there's tons of books on this, right? There's fixed versus growth, and scarcity versus abundance, and reactive versus proactive. There's all these books about how your mindset should be. I think for me, one of the biggest things is mental flexibility. Just in general, having mental flexibility. Anytime you enter a situation, a year ago, this just really stuck with me. My pastor said that you should, I wrote it down because I knew I would forget, that you should view your problems not as problems, but as situations. I'm like butchering it. But the point is, like, when you focus on them as problems, then you chain yourself to a problem. But when you focus it on, this is just a situation. This is a situation that has a solution. He said that's a situation that requires faith. So to allow yourself to go forward and say, what's the next step? Instead of being stuck in this, but here's the problem. And so getting back to that kind of idea of mental flexibility, that requires you to maybe hold that situation in your hand and like turn it around and look at it from different angles and think about it in different ways so that you can address it more fully.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, that is something that is a hindrance to a lot of people, and not just in business, but in life, and seeing their problems as just a problem and not knowing how they can get past that and being stuck in it. And I think that lends itself to sometimes the mental health challenges that we see with people and that they experience in life, is not viewing it from that perspective as a situation to work through, to
And
find a
it's so,
resolution.
yeah. And it's so hard though, because like, it's easy to sit here and say it, right? And I'm also
No,
not in the middle of it.
yeah,
I watched just today before coming on here with you, I watched I've been doing a vlog just for myself of this journey with this tech company, because it's been painful to a level that I haven't yet experienced in starting businesses. Painful meaning mentally, it's been difficult for me to continue to drive forward.
sure,
And it was super encouraging for me to go back and see my struggle in the midst of these situations, you know, looking at videos from a year ago, and now we're fast forward to a year into the future. And those things are not problems anymore. Those things have been solved. But, you know, when you're in the midst of it, it is so difficult to be able to see anything but what's right around you. And so it's very easy to sit here and say, oh, we'll just zoom out, or, oh, we'll just change your perspective, or, oh, we'll just blah, blah, blah. But the reality is it's not something, at least I haven't found the magic pill for this yet. You know, it's not something that you arrive at where you're like, oh, and I'm really good at this now. I think that anytime you get hit with something really difficult in your life, it's a whole nother level, another challenge of, am I going to meet this head on? Am I going to be able to continue? It's like I said this in one of my videos. I feel like I'm having World War III in my brain, you know, this fight between, I'm going to focus on the positive because I know that's what I have to drive me forward. But this negative is like a ball and chain, and I'm out in the middle of the ocean and it's like pulling me under, you know? So that back and forth is so hard when you're in the middle of it. It's so hard.
Yeah. So what have you found that's helpful when you're in the middle of something like that? Even knowing what you know and can state now, when you're in the middle of something, it can be difficult, as you've just described. What has helped you to then shift your mindset and to keep driving forward?
I think, you know, different things over the years, I've kind of added to my arsenal. So reminding myself that this is okay, this is normal to feel this way, and maybe even let myself sit there for a hot second and have my little pity party or whatever it is that I'm doing, and then say, okay, and now we're going to focus, and now get up, get out of bed, wash your face, and today's a new day. What's the thing that's in front of you? Do the thing that's in front of you. And then that helps you to start get into this kind of just the next thing. Not all the things, just the next thing that's in front of you. And whatever that may be, that you have the ability to impact the outcome of, because there's going to be tons of things that need to happen that you don't have any ability to impact the outcome of. And those things, when you focus on them, can take you under fast. So it's that one thing that's in front of me that I can do, that one thing.
Yep. To be able to focus on that and find that success and keep building upon it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
I have heard certain people have said that they have found it helpful to have certain either mantras or quotes or verses, or just some things that they repeat themselves, either posted or daily readings. Are there anything like that you have used and have found helpful for you?
So I think that just, I love Dory, just keep swimming.
Yeah.
I think I have a tendency to, my mantras end up being more negative, kind of
Okay.
like, get your
Hmm.
butt up, Erica, quit being
Hmm.
lazy, quit, like that
Uh-huh.
negative bent, which is, that defeats the whole purpose, I think.
Sure.
So I even sort of struggle on that level of
Uh-huh.
needing to focus on the right thing. I do remember and this quote has come back to my mind multiple
Yeah.
times over the years. It's very popular. I'm sure you've heard it. But when I ran cross country in high school, on my cross country binder, we had a binder in cross country. My coach was very nutrition and
Organized.
we learned stuff, not just ran.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Absolutely.
but my quote was, many of life's failures are people who didn't realize how close they were to success when they gave up. And I think that is,
Could you repeat that just so
yeah,
I can
I
hear it
said
again?
that like super fast at night.
You nailed it. Yeah.
Many of life's failures are people who didn't realize how close they were to success when they gave up.
Okay.
Yep. And I
Got it.
think that is a big, I mean, we'll see. I'm really
Hmm.
going to test the bounds of that with this tech
Yeah.
company.
Yep.
But I'm going on 3 years now and I'm
Hmm.
refusing to give up. And we were insolvent.
Hmm.
Let's see, April, really, really October when we were supposed to launch. October of
Yeah.
the first time we were supposed to launch, October of 21.
Okay.
That didn't happen. Then we were going to launch in January. That didn't happen. Then it was going to be,
Yeah.
it's just been a series. Anyways,
Yep.
so that's quite a while ago. And somehow we're still here. So
Yeah.
somehow every month I've still been able to, now we've leveraged ourselves personally to the hilt, but
Hmm. Hmm.
um, we're making progress. We have people in the
Yeah.
app,
Yep.
paying customers, which is a
Yes.
massive step.
Yep.
So I think
Absolutely.
there's a lot to be said for just a flat out refusal to give up. No, I've decided I'm doing this, so I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And there definitely is a difference between like that service industry business and the technology business that you're now
Yes.
operating in. I mean, I've I don't know all of the differences with I mean, Uber is an example that I had heard not too long ago with regards to their turning a profit. It was many years after they actually had launched before they had turned a profit, but a very large organization. So, and I've heard about that with other technology companies. So there's a lot more investment of time and money on
Right.
the front end with that longer term outcome of building that product that will add that value that you're looking for. So,
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then layer on top
mhm,
someone like me who has for all, there's no reason I should have started a tech company. I don't have a tech background. So a big part of my learning curve was finding the right people
mhm,
to support
yep,
me. And I think for
sure,
people who are in the tech world, they would have been able to shortcut that whole
sure,
scenario. So there was a
okay,
tremendous amount of time and money lost there. But
yeah,
it was also a tremendous learning experience for
yeah,
me.
absolutely.
I'm
And
not as
that,
blind as I was when I started.
yeah, right. And that bottleneck that you are more in tune with is something that someone in the tech world would not necessarily have known because they didn't work in the AVA industry and found out the ways that you could create systems that would help successfully navigate some of these challenges that most all companies that are doing the service
Right.
experience. So,
Right.
yeah, no, I think an added value there for sure. And with that, I've looked at the website, and I think that you're definitely putting something together that, I was thinking, oh, I better click on watch, get a demo, but then I thought, well, I'm not doing anything in this right now, so maybe not. But I want to encourage other people to take a look at what you're doing. So, what is the best way for someone to reach out and look at ABA Engine just so that they can have an idea of what you're doing and see an opportunity that they could then consider implementing in their own business?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is the ability, like you said, to book a demo on the website. So
Okay.
www.abaengine.com. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you could email me, Erica, ERICA, at abaengine.com. But I do think, I'm happy to talk to anybody about it, but demos are really great to kind of show you what it is and what the goals are. I think we have more of a need in our field than we have. I know we have more of a need. And I know you and I talked about this than we have service providers for. But I don't think that should be an excuse to kind of say, oh, well, there's such a demand. I think that's more of a reason for us to look at our operations and say, yeah, but are they tight enough? Are we optimized enough? Can we get one more child into services?
Right.
And I feel pretty passionate about that because that impacts directly a child's life. And so if we could tweak this or that and pull a couple more kids in, why wouldn't we?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, you're changing an individual's life, not only their life, but the family that they are surrounded by helping out this child who's presenting with often some challenges with in varying ways. So, I mean, I think that is a big thing. And at the same time, for the business and the business owner, you're creating these efficiencies that help improve their operations as well. Right. So it is definitely a winning situation for both sides. So that's optimal in any business.
It is, absolutely.
I do have a few more questions. One I wanted to ask in regards to a success tip that you would provide to someone who is a newer entrepreneur, somebody who is maybe not necessarily specific to the ABA industry, but just wanting to build and grow and to become successful. What is one success tip that you would provide?
Oh gosh, yeah. I feel
hard
like
to limit it to one.
Yeah, I think probably though the biggest one is analysis paralysis.
Okay.
Just start.
Yeah.
Just start. 0 to 1 is literally, that's a great book, by the way.
Okay.
If you haven't read it, but 0 to 1 is literally the hardest. Go from this idea of this business that you want to have. And obviously you have to do some research and put some things in place. But if you stay in that phase, you miss time, you miss opportunity. And you can do a lot of research while you're doing action. Just start taking action.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with what you said. And I've lived in that analysis paralysis in a lot of different ways in my life. Actually, real briefly, I've been in the alleyway at the grocery store and I'm looking at various different brands of a product, and my wife will come back around. Are you still looking at which one has the best? I mean, so sometimes I'll overanalyze things, and that's a very simple example of that.
I have a story in the other direction. I maybe should analyze things a little bit more, because I tend to just do the thing. Like,
sure.
Let's do it. Let's go. Where's the cliff? Let's jump.
Right.
My husband and I went to Roatan on our honeymoon and we went scuba diving. And I actually got certified so that I could go because he was going with me or without me. And he was a certified rescue diver. So we're out scuba diving and I'm looking at all these beautiful fish. And there's like a moray eel that's swimming by. And I'm like just so happy looking around. And he kind of lets me know, hey, I'm going down. And I knew he wanted to go down to 100 feet so that when we got back to the States, he would say, hey, I've been down to 100 feet, whatever. And so like this competitive thing in my brain clicked. And I was like, oh no, you're not going down there without me. I'm going too. We're not going back to the States and you get to say you went down 100 feet and I didn't. So I maybe should have analyzed that situation a little bit more because I didn't even bother to check my air tank. And I was out. So we had to buddy breathe back up
to
the surface.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's added experience to the outing. Wow. Well, you were able to say, though, that you had also accomplished that goal.
I did. I accomplished the goal. Gosh darn it. I mean, my husband had to save my life, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, thankfully, he has been a rescue diver. So very good. Well, there are times, you're right, that we do need a little more analysis, but don't get stuck in that. I think
Don't get
that's a
stuck, right?
very, very good tip. And the other question that I like to ask all of our guests is, if you were to be given $1 million without restrictions to invest in your business or another endeavor that you're pursuing, what would you do with that?
So the easy answer is going to be I'd invested in my tech company because my tech
Hmm.
company could guzzle that up really fast.
Sure.
Um,
Yep.
but since this is a hypothetical question, um, I'm going to have a disclaimer of this is not investment
Uh-huh.
advice, but I would invest it in Silvergate Capital. That's what I would do.
What was that?
I would
Silvergate
invest it
Capital?
in Silvergate Capital. Yes.
I'm not even sure what that is.
I don't either, but my husband says
Okay.
things and I sometimes listen, and it sounds like it would be
Okay.
a really good investment.
All right.
So,
Silvergate Capital. We're
yes,
going to
but
have to look that one up.
this is not investment advice.
Full disclaimer, not investment
Full
advice,
disclaimer, yes.
but in a hypothetical situation, there's an example of what you would do. Very good. All
Yes,
right.
but
And
realistically, probably my tech company.
yes, I know that that is a passion project right now that you're going to continue to see through as you continue to provide solutions for those bottlenecks and sticking points and the inefficiencies that we operate in as ABA providers at times specific to that industry. For anyone who is listening who doesn't know what ABA is, applied behavior analysis, and it's often we have found that it's most often we hear about it applied to working with children with autism. So
Hmm.
that's what we're referring to today. So
Yep.
all right, well, we've already heard it, but if anyone is interested in talking more with Erica, reach out on LinkedIn or to Erica at abaengine.com. abaengine.com at the website. You can also get a demo of that software that she's in development and working on. And did you say you already do have some people using this?
Yes,
Some companies? So
we're up and running.
up
Yeah,
and running. So
yeah.
awesome. So definitely want to see more people up and running as well. And if you're an ABA business owner, also reach out to Erica, join her business owners community. Definitely want to get people the support that they need to continue to build and grow and thrive and help change lives. So thank you for joining me
Thank
today,
you.
Erica. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And thank you for those that are listening today as well. All right.